For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Larry Little, Public Information Officer here at the county's Emergency Operations Center. Today we are talking about COVID-19 and how it continues to exacerbate existing housing and food insecurity challenges here in the county. This morning, Executive Director of West Valley Community Service, Josh Selo, joins me to share information about resources and his organization's role during this global pandemic. But first, we have and are removing our facial coverings for this segment so everyone, including our American Sign Language interpreters, can clearly understand and communicate the information we will be sharing this morning. Also, from time to time and throughout this broadcast, you will see information from our data dashboard at the bottom of your screen to keep you updated on it. Josh, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Larry. It's a pleasure to be here today.
So if life was not already difficult enough here in the county, you know, we're facing food insecurity and housing issues. We have a global pandemic. What are you seeing in the community?
So over the past 5 years since I've been at West Valley Community Services, we've seen a steady increase in demand for assistance, particularly the area of food and rental assistance. We all are familiar with the housing crisis and the impact it's had, not only on low-income communities, but that nexus between low-income communities and communities of color who were already struggling going into the pandemic. What we've seen now is another concern we've been raising for some time. It's the working poor, folks who've been on the edges, mostly being able to pay their rent, holding multiple jobs, but have no savings or under $400 in savings. Many of those folks work in the service sector, so they were in the hotel industry or they were in the car or taxi industry, one of those, those industries were decimated in March at the start of the pandemic when we had the shelter in place. Those folks began to struggle almost immediately. And so our response has been the focus on two major areas that are necessary for those families, and that has been food assistance, so food insecurity, and rental assistance to keep people housed.
So you've always been assisting people here in the county. Talk about how it was pre-COVID up to now.
Sure. So West Valley Community Services has been serving the West Valley communities of Saratoga, Los Gatos, Cupertino, West San Jose, and Montessorino for more than 48 years. We're part of a network that covers the entire county. It's called the Emergency Assistance Network. So we are a partnership of 7 agencies that provide a similar basket of services. What we've been seeing is that steady increase in demand because of the widening gap between rich and poor in Silicon Valley. We've also been seeing a steady stream of people leaving the area, workers that are essential to our economy because they couldn't afford to live here anymore. The cost of housing got too high. We also had large delays in the development of affordable housing in the region, which made it really hard for families to survive. We also know, if we've been following the every 2-year point in time studies that are done in this county and across the country, a steady increase in homelessness. We see it now very clearly in Cupertino, where our office is based, with encampments that just a few years ago didn't exist. It was more hidden in Cupertino. So we're seeing a steady increase in people who need help, more families really pushed to the edge, unable to afford their monthly bills. So just to give you an example, a data point, so the self-sufficiency income for a family of 4 in Santa Clara County, what they need to cover their basic needs is $96,000 a year, which is well above what a family would earn with even living wage jobs. So families who work in the service sector, in the hotel industry, they can't afford to live here. And what we're starting to see is our community becoming less and less economically diverse. And what we need is economic diversity in order for our community to function at full capacity for all the things we all love and care about doing, and the culture that we value here in the Silicon Valley. We need economically diverse communities, but we're making it hard for families who don't earn, triple-digit incomes to survive here.
Let's talk about some of the services that you all offer at your organization, starting with the mobile food pantry.
Yes, so we brought our mobile food pantry online in 2016 through a partnership with Second Harvest of Silicon Valley, who donated to us our first RV. It's a 38-foot Fleetwood Bounder. We had this vision of taking our services to folks where they are. One of the things we don't often think about is people who fall into what we would normally think of as low income or less resourced. They have jobs often that have less flexibility. They can't just take off time to come to a food pantry that may not be close to them. There also could be transportation issues. People might not have cars or access to the bus. They often also have families that are depending on them, and so they wouldn't come to us for resources and services. So we felt we needed to make this less of a stumbling block by bringing the resources out into the community. And I'll be honest, mobile food pantry is a little bit of a misnomer because yes, we do provide food on the mobile food pantry, but you can access all of our other services from that resource. So rental assistance, financial coaching, case management, signing up for special programs, all of those things are available from the mobile food pantry in your community at a location that is much easier for you to get to than maybe going across town.
So let's talk about case management, because when some people offer assistance, for example, local charitable feeding organizations, they go out, they feed the food insecure, and that's the end of the relationship. Talk about case management, and also are you offering assistance for mental health?
So case management is the heart of West Valley Community Services. It's really at the core of the experience because we realize every person has different challenges. Every person has different struggles, and there's no one-size-fits-all approach. The way case management works is a client comes in and we work with them on developing a case plan tailored to the specific crises that they're facing. And then we can refer them to resources both internal in our agency, but also external in the community that they could benefit from. So really, they get their own, for lack of a better word, prescription for how best to address the challenges they're facing. I want to be clear, our clients are active participants in addressing the situation that they're in, but often they don't know what resources are available to them in the community, and we do. That's our core competence. So we can connect them with those resources. So it might be food resources, it might be rental resources, and it might be mental health. We do not offer mental health at our agency, but we're part of this incredible network in Santa Clara County of nonprofits and county agencies. So we know exactly where to help this person and can navigate that referral so that they don't fall through the cracks.
So how can people get help?
So if you're living in the West Valley and need assistance with food or rent, the best way is to visit us either online at wvcommunityservices.org, and you'll find all the information, or you can give us a call at 408-255-8033. Now, if you're not living in the West Valley, we can also be of assistance to you. So we know each agency in all the different zip codes in the county and who they help. So give us a call and we can connect you with your home agency, and they'll be able to provide you with assistance.
So people have been put in very uncomfortable situations because of COVID, and some people are ashamed of getting help. What is your message to them?
So shame is a big part of the experience in general when coming to an agency like ours. There have been several studies about why people who are eligible for food pantry assistance don't go. And shame is a big one. I think there's often a misconception that people might want to take advantage or use resources that are not meant for them. And nothing could be further from the truth. It's so hard to ask for help. It's so hard not to feel that you can be self-sufficient with your family. And we understand that. And for us at West Valley Community Services, the dignity and compassion of each of the clients that come to us is part of our core agency values. In normal times, our food pantry is set up in a way that the clients actually shop for the foods themselves. We don't provide them with the resources. They choose what they're gonna feed their families as if they were going to a supermarket where they were paying for the resources. And we feel like that's an important part of maintaining the dignity of every person who comes to us. We're living in unprecedented times. And I would say if you are struggling, if you need help, while it's hard to ask for help, that is why we're here. We are here to provide you dignified support in the most challenging of times, and hopefully you can find your way to an agency like ours or one of our partners so that you don't have to face the risk of hunger or homelessness alone. I'll tell you, Larry, we're really concerned about the potential end of the eviction moratoriums and the anticipated large-scale eviction of folks who are struggling in Silicon Valley. I think the Law Foundation indicated that 46,000 people are at risk of homelessness. We hope that clients don't wait until that moment to come for help. Come now. We are here to assist you.
Now, are you expecting an increase of people needing assistance, and are you ready, prepared to handle the demand?
So we have already experienced triple-digit increases in requests for rental assistance and food, as has all of the agencies in our network and all of our partners. So everyone has been stretched to capacity at a time when they have fewer employees in the office and fewer volunteers, because for many of us, our agencies, our volunteers are over the age of 60, so they have not been coming because we need to keep them safe. We're doing the best we can. Do I anticipate that we will struggle with resources? Well, at a time when the county is likely to run into budget gaps, yes, a lot of us are heavily county funded. We also know that at some point donors are going to be looking at other things like the upcoming election, and they're going to want to shift their resources in that way. But I wouldn't want the message to be don't come because of concerns about capacity. We're doing our very best to reach out to the community and express the needs that we have. And I also want to share, we live in an incredibly compassionate region and community. I have seen an outpouring of support and love and assistance from our neighbors and our friends, people who've never supported us before, who want to help. And it gives me a lot of hope for the months ahead. I think should the eviction moratorium go away, we're going to see a huge spike in interest. And also, as long as people can't get back to work, which is what people want to get back to work, we will continue to see these spikes in need for help.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier, because we know the need of our community members living in South County, in Gilroy and Morgan Hill, but there is a misconception about the areas that you serve. Could you just talk about that?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, when I first started at West Valley Community Services, one of the things that I would do when I'd go out to present to the community is I would show the data from the Business Journal about the most affluent zip codes in Silicon Valley, of which some of the most affluent zip codes fall in our service area. So Los Gatos, Cupertino, Saratoga. But the message I think that is important for us to know, and I think we know now more than we did 5 years ago, is that poverty doesn't know a zip code. Poverty exists everywhere. Does it look the same in every community? No. There's less affordable housing in the West Valley. We see more car dwellers. And now we see more outdoor dwellers. We see there's an encampment on Wolf Road by the old Valco site. And we're seeing it more visibly. When I first started, I had to convince people that there was a problem, that there was a challenge, that this existed at all. But all the stories that have been in the paper over the last 5 years about the housing crisis have really lifted the scales from people's eyes and raised greater awareness about the need in this community. And now even more so that we're seeing the physical impacts, the real physical impacts. It does concern me though about a compassion gap that I think might exist for some folks. We've heard really troubling stories about folks at the encampment at Wolf being harassed, things thrown at their tents, people shouting at them, flashing lights at them. You know, this is an awful time. But if we lose our compassion for each other, we have nothing. And I really want to recommend to all the viewers and to our whole region, please draw on the depths of your compassion. We need to take care of each other now more than ever.
How can community members assist West Valley Community Services?
So I would recommend, first of all, if you're living in the West Valley and want to help, you can find us online, again at wvcommunityservices.org and 408-255-8033. We do have need for volunteers, although not the volume we used to need because of physical distancing. And of course, donations are always helpful, but we can also connect you if you do not know the EAN agency, the Emergency Assistance Agency in your community, and and you want to help them, I'd highly encourage that, and we're happy to connect you to your home agency. I think there's something magical and special about a community that rises around their home community service agency. So feel free to be in touch with us, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Any closing thoughts?
No, I think that, as I said, at this time, the most important thing is to reach out, find out how you can help, how you can be of service. Know that there are people that are struggling, and if you're one of those people struggling, find us, find one of our sister agencies. We're here to help you and see you through this crisis.
Josh, thank you for being here. Great information. We'll have you back because I'm sure COVID's going to be around for a while. So thanks so much for being here and sharing all of the important information today.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, Facebook Live in Spanish comes up at 11 o'clock today, and our Facebook Live in Vietnamese is at 10 a.m. Every Thursday. Be sure to check those out. As we come to a close, I want to share this sign with you. Where is it? No? Technology. We'll have it up in just a moment here. So, all right. There it is. As we come to a close, I want to share this sign with you. I see it every night when I'm out walking my dogs and at a San Jose business, and every time I see it, I think it speaks to this moment that we are currently living in. And no matter how many times I see it, it renews my hope that we will definitely get through this together. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We will see you back here for Facebook Live in English on Monday at 10 a.m.
For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.